27th at 9:30 a.m. in the Rose Garden, and today we have a project of putting up a privacy screen in front of the garbage cans because I'm really tired of looking at the garbage cans as I look at my roses. And I did contact Gardenworks to see if they would allow me to return the 7 non-growing Japanese holly columnar trees, and they said, I sent them pictures and they said they still think they're going to be growing. So I had kind of planned on getting some money back on those, but I guess that was premature. So I'm going to see if I can install this privacy screen with leaving those holly trees in place. So anyways, let's take a look at the roses to see how everybody's doing. Iceberg is looking beautiful. Iceberg has got so many blooms, and actually, you know, because the blooms are quite open, I thought the iceberg blooms would be disappearing quite quickly, but actually they stay quite well, and it did rain this week, so I'm really impressed with that. And we're getting a little bit more growth put on there, which is pretty exciting. So iceberg is looking good. And here's Dylan. And Dylan, oh my gosh, I cut those Dylan last week and put them in my daughter's room, and they just looked so great. And Dylan is going to be putting out some more blossoms for us up here. She's setting up new buds and really looks so pretty. I figured out what was going on with this Artemisia, and it's a fungal infection. And I guess I didn't really realize that Artemisia is kind of more likes dry environments, and I've been really obsessively watering this area, which I don't think has been a very good thing for that. So last night I pulled off all the kind of fungal appearing material and I sprayed the Artemisia with some sulfur. So we'll see how that goes. Hope I don't have to move it. Gemini has had a huge leap this week. Gemini is giving us buds, which she didn't have last week, and all of this new red new growth, which is a huge jump. I'm super excited about that. Golden Opportunity has got her blossoms out for us, and I wish I could get you to smell the fragrance of Golden Opportunity. It is so sweet. It is so beautiful. I really love Golden Opportunity. And what is Golden Opportunity? I don't know who hybridized it, but it's really, really gorgeous. And Royal City continues to amaze me. We're going to be getting lots more flowers from Royal City, but her buds just are so delicate and beautiful. And here's Eden Climber. Sorry, Eden, you still don't have a name tag because I ran out of the little metal signposts. So I've ordered some more on Amazon Prime Day. But Eden Climber is looking great. And those blooms are even staying despite the rain. Let's check in on Harlow Carr, who was transplanted in the hottest week of the summer. So I cut her back a little bit last week, and yeah, it doesn't look quite as wilted as last week, so that's better, I guess. Here's Laguna. Laguna has got some nice tall canes coming off, which I will tie up today. And it looks like Laguna is going to be giving us the first bloom very soon. Right here, she's got a big spray that's going to be coming out here. Amazing. And the Pope is, again, I'm still really like, what's happening over here? Oh, look at this. All of this where I trimmed it all back over here is we've got new growth coming up. Thank goodness. I thought I had really done a number on this one. So anyways, the Pope is throwing up some more stuff here for us. We're going to have a bunch more blooms. I hope these canes are strong enough to hold these. Maybe I'll have to get another stake to prevent that from kind of breaking off. And Crown Princess Margareta is so tall now. Crown Princess Margareta is all the way up to here. And she had some beautiful blooms last week. Looks like she's maybe taking a break on the blooms to get some growth, but we're going to have some more blooms coming soon. I need to deadhead Blushing Drift, but I'm just so not feeling Blushing Drift right now. And I really do want to move her at least maybe I'll give her to Olivia or something, but I don't know, I just feel like she doesn't fit here anymore, and it's just not doing it for me. And here we've got Rosanna. Rosanna is beautiful. Rosanna, of course, has this big tall cane, which is going to be giving so many blossoms coming soon. And Rosanna's blooms are really beautiful. Very happy with that. And here's Eustacia vine number 2. And Eustacia vine number 2 is just incredible. Like, this Eustacia vine is the happiest. She's got tons of nice thick canes, new growth, still lots of blooms. And I'll show you Eustacia vine at the end of this Eustacia vine number 1, but Eustacia vine number 1 is really on the struggle bus, and I fear that it's because she's getting too much shade. Here is Ebbtide, our other standard tree rose, and Ebbtide just looks amazing. Such a cool deep purple color, and it's going to be giving us a lot of blooms soon, and has just got those blooms, and she's really fragrant as well. I really like that one. There's the delphiniums that I planted last week. They're looking nice. This is kind of like purple zone here. And here's Fragrant Cloud. Fragrant Cloud is absolutely, Fragrant Cloud is literally so fragrant. But look how gorgeous her blooms are. Beautiful. And Sweet Mademoiselle, I cut one of Sweet Mademoiselle's blossoms to give to a friend this week, so that was the only one she had, but she's starting to put on some height as well. And surprise, surprise, Secret is out. Not to be confused with Secret's Out, our other rose, but this is Secret, and she is a white rose with a pale edge. She's so pretty. She is hybridized by Star Roses. And yeah, I think she's looking really good. She's got some more height coming on her. Really looking pretty. When I saw the buds forming on these, I actually thought she was going to be more white. And it kind of, like when you first look at it, it's more light pink, but actually in the buds, it really looked like white with a pink edge. So but really beautiful. We'll see what those look like when they get a little bit older. And here's Sterling Silver. Josephine was really so sad that Sterling Silver had a setback, but you know, Sterling Silver not only got completely bashed, but now has, you know, black spot and powdery mildew, but you know, she's growing something new down here, so fingers crossed. And here we have Zephyrin Druin number 1. And you know, all these new leaves they look like they have powdery mildew, but do they? I don't know, maybe they're just kind of wrinkly. I guess, yeah, they do have powdery mildew. Should I just keep pulling those off? Maybe I just keep pulling those off. And, but also it's so incredibly cool that there's no thorns. There's literally no thorns on Zephyrin Druin. And Queen Mary 2 is very tall now. Queen Mary 2 is easily 4 feet tall now. And I need to do some deadheading, but she's just really going to be giving more and more and more blooms. Like, I can just see right here, I can see at least 40 buds that are setting up here. So I will deadhead her today. And Westerland, I'm still training Westerland to go to the side a little bit. But Westerland had a big flush of blooms, and it looks like she's going to be giving us some more blooms on both edges here. So that's looking great. Westerland's definitely putting on more height than she did last year. And here we have Love's Promise. And yeah, I'm very happy with Love's Promise. I'm going to show you a blossom here. Look at that. Love's Promise is just so velvety and so beautiful. And when the blooms are a little bit older, they really open up to almost like a frilly kind of appearance, which seems a little bit different because they set up so much like a hybrid tea, but then they almost look like a different type of rose when they're fully opened. But such vibrant, there's no filter on this, and this looks incredible. So she's still going to be giving us some new blooms on the ends of these extremely long, strong canes. Secrets Out is doing well, and she's floribunda, so she's got lots. I'm going to have to deadhead some of these too, but you know, Secrets Out, something, same with last week, is this infestation of some kind, or is just, oh yeah, it looks like there's a bug in there. I don't know what that means. I'll have to look that up. Here's Zephyrine Druin number 2. Again, we've got powdery mildew, but still growing and looks much better than last week. And there's Zephyrine Druin. And okay. And here is Strike It Rich, which is really, really tall. Like I would say almost 5 feet tall. And it was really windy this week. So what I did is I actually put some stakes in the ground and tied up these longer canes because I was really worried they were just gonna snap off in the wind. So looks like they've survived. Again, we see this beautiful pinkish edge when there's the heat or the sun on them. And we've still got lots more buds. So I'll come deadhead this one. But she is, oh, they've got a whole cane that's just ready to go with some little buds. So definitely do some deadheading there. William P.J. McCarthy. I can't, I have no words. William P.J. McCarthy is an incredible gel bear rose, and I just love gel bear roses because they're so much stronger than David Austin's, but they have an English rose appearance. And look at how well they survived the rain. And they're, you know, a bit soft, but they're not mushified. And Claire Austin is putting on lots of vertical growth, but in the rain, her blooms really suffered. You can see down here. Like they're just kind of almost mushy and rotten. And Gertrude, how are you doing, Gertrude? Oh, you have black spot and powdery mildew, and you're just teeny tiny. I think we just have to continue to help you along. Marilyn Monroe. Beautiful. Lots of new buds. Yeah, I love Marilyn Monroe. And look at all these extra buds here. She's got at least 20 buds that we're going to be seeing bloom soon. Golden Celebration, again, so it's 9:30. All of these guys are getting too much shade. So something has to be done. I just hope that it can wait until the fall. So Golden Celebration, we've got some new growth here in the center, which has a bud on it. And so she's just taking a break still from last week. And then Princess Alexandra. Princess Alexandra, even though she's super leggy, she still continues to put out blooms for us, which I'm grateful for. And her blooms, oh no, they don't hold up too well in the rain. Some of them do, but I guess the ones that are a little bit older, they kind of collapse. So I'll clean that up. And here is poor Eustacia vine number 1, who is just not in a good place. And if you look at Eustacia vine number 2, who was a bare root rose this spring, and this is a 2nd-year rose, I'm not doing Eustacia vine number 1 a service by letting her stay here in this cold, shady corner. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put some rose fertilizer on, especially these big guys, because I think they're gonna need more than just the fish fertilizer I gave them last week. So I'll pull out the rose fertilizer and I'll dig it into the bottom. I'm thinking about doing it actually in some of the newer roses that are really putting out a lot of blooms right now, like William PJ McCarthy and Dylan, and but I won't use it on the ones that are just very like just getting started. So yeah, so I'll do that a bit later. But the project for today is this enclosure. I got these from Costco. It's a Concord privacy screen, and I'm going to put it up here, and I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to fit it just behind these. I might have to move some of these rocks out of the way. So anyways, that's today's project. I'll keep you posted. So it's 12:30 and I actually made a trip to Lee Valley Tools because I just am really feeling stressed that I need to move Eustacia Vi rather than waiting until the end of the year. Just when I saw the comparison this morning. And I also had a coupon for $25 off if I spend $100. And I've been wanting to get the Root Slayer shovel because I have the Root Slayer edger, but my dad got the Root Slayer shovel and he says it's really good. And I think I may need to do some digging when I set those new panels up to block the garbage cans. So, and this coupon expires June 30th. And yeah, so I thought I would come out here today, and it was also starting to get a little bit rainy out in the garden, but I was able to get everything fertilized, and I did put the granular fertilizer on almost every rose that really had a lot of blooms, but I did not put it on the ones that were still yet to bloom or just had maybe one or two because I thought that might overwhelm them. But anyways, let's go in and see if they have the Root Slayer in stock. So here's all the shovels. Okay, this is the Root Slayer trenching shovel. And this is the one that I want, which is the Root Slayer transplant spade. So it looks like, hopefully they have some in the back. I always like to see some of the other things that they've got on here. This is a nice pad, isn't it? It's a little bit better than the one I've got. Let's try it out. Ooh, ooh, that is a heck of a lot better than the one I have. Maybe I should get a bunch of gloves because I do burn through them pretty fast. I get holes in the ends very quickly. Okay, I have to go and fill out a form and then get the people to get it for me. It always takes so long here. So I got my Root Slayer. I bought some gloves, it was 10 for $9, and then I bought a little X-Acto knife, and it came to $101, and it had to be $100 to use the coupon. So anyways, I'm gonna head back to the garden. So I've got these instructions out here. I thought it was going to be a lot easier, honestly. I'm going to have to get the drill and 1/8 inch drill bit. Yeah, I don't know why I thought this was going to be easier, but okay, I'm going to give it a try. Okay, so far so good. I've got this set up. Now I have to put it up against a wall and slide the slats in. So I've had a pretty big realization trying to put this screen in. I'm going to show you what I mean. So I was having trouble digging down to get enough space to dig in these panels, and I realized like that is the landscape fabric that was put down. And I think the reason that these aren't growing, and maybe the reason Eustacia's not growing, is because they've only got about 6 inches of soil. And so, I mean, I know it's the middle of summer, but what am I to do here? I mean, I just really think that these need to come out, and I need to remove this cloth and kind of restart everybody. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. But I just don't see the plants in here doing well at all. I suspect that right where Marilyn Monroe is where the fabric stops. I should dig down and see if that's the case, because these are all just shrimpified, and I've been thinking that it was because of the shade, but maybe it's just this landscape cloth, which equally are difficult to deal with. So anyways, I'm going to keep digging around here and see what I can see. So you can really see that this only had that much room for a root ball, and there was the fabric. So I feel like such a stupid idiot. I feel like so stupid for not figuring this out sooner. And now I've got to do all this work, but otherwise it's just a waste of these trees. It's about 6 o'clock in the rose garden, and I realize that I am truly a beginner, which of course I knew, but I just didn't realize how incredibly dumb I was. So it turns out that that landscape fabric goes way farther than I thought. I guess I just wasn't digging my holes for my new roses deep enough to, although I swear I was, but maybe I was cutting through it at the bottom of the hole. I don't know. I obviously was not paying close enough attention. But the landscape fabric around the garbage area goes all the way out to where Harlow Carr was. This is where Harlow Carr was and was just not doing well. And that is where I had chosen to put Gertrude Jekyll. And I pulled out all of the Japanese ilex holly bushes, and because this still has landscape fabric all underneath it. And then I thought, oh, I wonder if it goes all the way this way. You know, there's clearly landscape fabric under Marilyn Monroe here, but Marilyn Monroe's doing so well, I don't really want to interrupt her this season. But Golden Celebration and Princess Alexandra of Kent, you know, I think should be doing better, and it's probably because the landscape fabric comes all the way out here. I guess maybe lavender don't have very deep roots, and of course the annuals are doing fine because they're very shallow rooted. So anyways, this will be a bigger project than I thought, but I think it's for the better anyways, because then that means I can still use this bed for roses, and it probably was not the shade in the morning that was causing the problem. So anyways, I'm gonna have to do the rest of this tomorrow, I suppose. Hi, it's 6 o'clock on Sunday in the Rose Garden, and whoa, that that weekend was a lot of work. I'm exhausted. Probably not the best weekend for me to get my shingles vaccine on Friday, but I guess I was able to just push through it. So I will show you what I did with that bed that had all of the weed fabric underneath it, because I definitely have done a lot of digging this weekend. So let me show you. So thank goodness I got that root slayer shovel, because I would not have been able to do this without the root slayer. So this is what I did. I dug down every layer and got to the bottom and pulled up meters and meters of this impermeable plastic weed fabric. And in my defense, it definitely was a couple years ago, the bed was built up like this, and so it wasn't like I was digging way down to plant these roses. It's just that over time, as the soil compressed, I didn't anticipate that the roots would eventually reach so close. Gone down, taken all the weed fabric out. I was able to not interrupt Golden Celebration here and Marilyn Monroe. What I was able to do is kind of cut underneath and like lift one side of the roots and lift the other side of the roots and pull the plastic weed fabric out from like either side. So that's good. I hope they won't be too upset. So Golden Celebration remains. Marilyn Monroe. I did put Princess Alexandra of Kent back here. I'm gonna just trim her a little bit back just so she can recover from this transplanting. And I actually moved Gertrude Jekyll up here. I had a bit more room because I moved the lavenders towards the back of the bed, and I also got rid of the stepping stones, which was really for the dogs. So I just used the extra stones that we had from putting this fence up, because they used to all be built up here. So there's going to be another couple I think maybe 4 to 5 more slats on top of these, but Scott is going to help me do that when he gets home from climbing. And yeah, I'm really pleased that I got this done this weekend, because it was a lot of work, and I did not want to leave it to do this week, because I've got a busy week of work. So anyways, I also did this bed, which isn't rose related, but I also did this bed back here, and I had all these coneflower echinaceas that were in the front that were pretty new, that I bought last year, that the deer were just destroying. So I moved the escallonia bushes towards the back of this bed, and I just put all the echinacea here, and I used a couple of the annuals from one of the other beds. So kind of, I'm not sure about this bed, but it looks okay for now. So anyways, there's the garden. I'm just gonna go put all my tools away and have like the 3rd shower today. I'm so dirty. Thanks for tuning in to Rose Garden Diaries. And yeah, this was a weekend that was a lot more work than I thought it would be, but I listened to a lot of music, and it was actually kind of fun, and I really feel relieved that I've got a plan now. So anyways, see you next week.